Welcome to the Creating Kinder Content podcast. Today I have with me Femina Miss India United Continents 2018 actor, model, dentist, mental health advocate, and Little Miss Pele Gayatri Bhardwaj. Gayatri is someone who has been doing her inner work endlessly despite being a very, very popular person online, getting trolled sometimes, and coming from an industry which is not always very kind. But the number one thing that resonates with me and stands out particularly about Gayatri is that she is single-handedly addicted to just being her best self. No competition with anyone. She just wants to be stronger physically, mentally, emotionally for herself and for those around. Gayatri, thank you so much for joining us and for teaching our generation that inner work is the secret, really. I can't wait for my audience to meet this beautiful person behind this very graceful front that you put forward. So thank you for joining us. And without any further ado, can I please request you to introduce yourself to my very wonderful audience in 3 words that you think best describe you to begin with?
Firstly, thank you for having me, Mallika. The fact that this podcast is so different from the rest of them that I have done, I'm so excited to
Thank you.
talk about kindness. So, first and foremost, let me introduce myself to your audience. I am an actor, I'm an animal lover, I am a fashion and beauty enthusiast. That's
Fab, but I think I have also in your introduction spilled out a little bit of a secret of you being a little Pele, because I know that you are really good at soccer, something that I don't think you talk about as much as I would like for you to talk about. Also, the first thing that I bonded on because I play tennis. But Gayatri, great words. Questions to then follow up with the things that you mentioned about describing yourself. Are these any of the things that you remember these as childhood memories, things that people told you while you were growing up or were around your environment, or are these things that you have discovered about yourself as you continue to grow into this beautiful journey that you've had so far?
When I was growing up, I was always that kid who would spend hours in my mom's closet, looking at her saris, trying to wear her shoes, her heels, using her makeup. And she would find me just daydreaming over there. And I would always get this hunter from my dad and my mom because, I would, like, even when I had to study, so they had to sit on my head to make me study, right?
Yeah.
So when I would sit at the dining table, Papa was sitting right behind me just to observe. So this one time, I didn't know that Papa has come and sat right behind me. Okay, I must be in like fifth, sixth standard, and I'm doing some Bharatanatyam practice sitting there. I'm doing this,
Oh,
something
wow.
like that. I start doing, and my dad's like, "One, you're supposed to be studying." So
I am
I feel
studying.
like I've always been a daydreamer. I've always wanted to be in the arts, so to say. I've always performed on stage a lot, dancing, singing. So I knew growing up that that's something that I've always been good at and I've always aspired to do.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was in the 8th standard, I was watching this film called Fashion, Priyanka Chopra, Kangna Ranaut, and just watching
What a
them walk the
lovely,
tab,
lovely film that is. Yeah.
right?
Performance wise,
Performance wise,
brilliance.
yeah,
Yeah.
superb.
Yeah.
So when I watched that film, it had an impact on me of the kind where I knew that I wanted to be on stage, I wanted to be on a ramp, which is where I started wanting to be a Miss India. Where I was like, I want to participate, I want to make it big in the fashion world. And I did. I ended up participating in the first round itself. I cleared. I kept clearing all the rounds. I kept going ahead without any expectations. But now that I look back, I know that the one thing that I had in my mind was that I'm meant to be someone big. Like I've always had that belief in myself,
Yeah.
which has been there because of the kind of upbringing I've had. And I read The Secret much later in my life. Like actually in 2020 is when I read it during the lockdown when I had a lot of free time. That's when I read it first. But when I was reading it, I thought I've been doing this since I was a little child.
Yeah.
I've been manifesting my life since I was a little kid. So I feel like that's just so
I
growing up.
love
To
that.
answer
I've
your
been
question.
manifesting my life since I was a little kid. This is great. Yeah.
Yeah, and talking about an animal lover, I've always got stray puppies home growing up,
Yes.
and my mother. It was such a difficult time for my mom because she would be like, "कहाँ छुपा के रखा है? निकाल उसको." Because I would hide them in my room. I would feed milk to all the stray puppies, and they would all be surrounding our home. So people used to be very afraid to come to our place in the night because they were like guard dogs, right, around our
Yeah.
home. We had a little Mikey also, if you remember, back home.
Yes. Yeah.
So Mikey was at
Yeah.
home, but I had
Yeah.
these stray puppies, all and big dogs. After some time, they were all protecting our home. So I've always been an animal lover. I have two rescue puppies of my own now. Both of them
Yeah.
are rescues. I don't believe in shopping for a dog.
Shopping for a dog.
I
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
think that dogs, the purpose that a dog has in my life is to give me love, and for me to give them a home and give them a home and love.
Yeah.
And I'm a beauty and fashion enthusiast because I've literally been obsessed with it, as I told you, growing up. So that's kind of like, it gets like being an
So
actor in that
it
sense.
matches the out and the inside. This is great. No, and I think I really appreciate you sharing all of that. And I have, and I will not try and sort of take that away from you, but I have had the honor of seeing your parents, the environment that you've grown up in. I've also, I think, in a way, sort of bonded on the fact that I think I have a similar sort of being girls. Like, we've never been, raised as a particular gender. We've been raised as dreamers and people
Absolutely.
who want to go and do what we want to do. So I think that's something that I really, really feel very strongly and passionately coming through from you as well. So
Yeah.
yes, you've been manifesting your life, and your parents have been, and your brother have been very, very supportive of your flight.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're not going to get to the tattoo, at least to start with, but I want to, since we're talking about this, I'll be happy for you to share if you want to talk about the environment, but also, is there a certain sort of incident or act of kindness that you remember growing up left such a huge impact on you that you realize that this is how I want to be made to be felt all my life, or this is how I want other people to feel around me? Is there an incident that you particularly remember stands out that you'd like to share with us, family or outside?
I feel like the biggest act of kindness was from my mother growing up, because I remember this one time where I was in the eighth standard, and I felt very underconfident going to school with a lot of kids who were coming from. I just didn't feel pretty, I turned 13, and I felt like this awkward, lanky teenager who wore specs. I had braces, and I just did not feel beautiful. I had a lot of kids around me, a lot of girls around me who I would look up to, who had hit puberty before me, clearly, because I was this flat-chested girl who, had kishmish. Say hi to kishmish.
Lots of love. I think Kishmish is heard. What do you mean you're not pretty? You're stunning. Look at you.
Thank you, baby. So, I remember my mom taking me to the market, to the mall, and she said, "What do you want to buy? Like, let's redo your wardrobe." And she took me to the ophthalmologist, and she said we want her to wear lenses to school next year because she's been wearing specs. Is she old enough? She made sure so she got me a little makeover before I went to the ninth standard. Okay, she I remember I got this kajal pencil and this lip gloss from MAC, which were like my prized
School
possessions.
staples.
School staple. And she was like, you get what you want. She got my specs off. She got me lenses. She got my braces taken off the next year, which anyway they were supposed to. And I had this makeover, and I remember my mom, yeah, and she also got my skirt shortened because I said, Mom, all the cool girls are wearing shorter skirts. My skirt is too long, okay? And I also went to modern school, just to give a little bit of a
We
backstory
get where
about
this
my
is coming
school,
from.
guys. Yeah. It was not a regular school. Like, my school was extremely chill when it came to uniform and like dress code and stuff. People were.
But for people who don't know modern school, let's just re-envision this as Karan Johar's school in a Dharma production, right? Like that's how
Sort of.
yeah.
Correct. So it was allowed. We were not doing anything out of the ordinary. And just to help me be a part of something, I feel like she did something for my self-esteem, which, I feel like when I look back, I'm like, Mom, thank you for doing that for me. Thank you for letting me come out of my shell. And every child needs a different kind of boost, I feel. Maybe another kid needs some other kind of, maybe they don't need to do any of this to feel included in something. That was just who I was. And being my mother, of course she recognized that in me, and of course she did not take it to heart, or she thought that this means that my daughter is any less than. She still knew that I was going to do the best in studies also. This did not mean that I changed as a person. This just meant that I feel more confident, because that's what I needed to feel confident.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm very, very grateful to my mother, and she told me this one line she would say कि तू कीचड़ में भी ना कमल की तरह खिलेगी. That's my confidence in you. So
Yeah.
that that's what I've always carried with me, that my morals, my upbringing, I carry with me like that I am that lotus, and even if there is a lot of kichad around me, I'm going to
Yeah.
blossom with the same teachings that my parents have given.
Love that. No, I think when you share this, as much as I know that there could be a lot of comments that come through on you shouldn't do your children shouldn't be put through this because of the troll culture that we live in, but I think it's so important the role that parenting plays in
Yeah.
raising someone who's confident. And I think the fact that parents can trust their children to make their mistakes, but I think it's so important to recognize that one of the kindest things that we can do, not just as parents but as people, is allowing someone the space to make mistakes but having a safe space to come back and say that's fine,
Yes.
you've learned from it, grow back into it, right? And I think that's
Yes.
something that of course is a great lesson, and kudos to auntie for doing this. And I also know
Yeah.
that dad is by the way going to watch this and be like, hey, I'm the biggest cheerleader, why have I not been mentioned? But we will keep it for another segment
I will mention him also, but
at
my
some
dad
point.
knows. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like, yeah, no, great parents. I
But
know
my
both
dad
your,
could have actually, he could have been somebody opposing any of this, right? Because
yeah,
I'm his daughter and I'm his elder child. There is no other in my entire side of the family. There are no girls. I have brothers all along. So my parents, my dad especially, my chachas, they're extra,
protective.
possessive and
Yeah,
protective
yeah,
of
yeah.
me. So I understand they could have also gone in that direction. My father could have gone like, no. But the way my parents work is like such a great unit, you
Yeah.
know like they have their roles so specifically designed. And I remember my dad telling me that your mom's thing, what she says is the last word, so then
Yeah.
don't come to me. Yes, I love you, because my dad and I have a very happy, like, he never scolds me for anything. My mom is the
Yeah.
one doing she's the
Yeah.
bad cop, right?
Yeah.
So Papa doesn't do any of that. But if I try to go above my mom, or if I try to go complain ki mummy aise kar rahi hai, he would say,
Huh.
excuse me,
Excuse me?
she's my
Go
queen
revisit.
first.
Yeah.
You are my
Yeah.
princess, but she's my queen. Like, he would always make
Yeah.
sure that the roles are very, specifically defined like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we also, like, we joke about these things as we grow up about, mom, like I think my parents function like that as well. They're a team, but mom's always the boss. I
Yeah.
think people joke about the fact that Joru ka gulam, or in a couple, in a relationship, as we're growing up, I think we are seeing it even more so now, that respect angle gets mistaken for joking about your partners. But I think there is such a certain quality about
Right. I see that.
feminine energy which grows into families, because when there is a dominant masculine energy where women are now fending for themselves because they have to prove their loyalty to their husband, they have to prove their point all the time to their partners or their families, or be a certain way, and where they lose that feminine energy side of themselves is where the
Hmm.
balance gets lost. But I think in homes where we have men who recognize that they have this balance that they need to arrive at, and they're growing with their own mistakes, they're parenting for the first time as well, they have
Yeah.
you and your brother, and it's a different combination, different ages, and children can get very tough, of course. But I think the fact that I think they have that, which is translated into this, and the fact that they're so proud of the fact that they know that my child is going to go out and she's going to make mistakes, but she will learn from them and she will come out stronger, not be collateral damage, right? I think that faith is
Absolutely.
so important in relationships in general, but which is why we're going to go back to the kindness element of so you've mentioned the story now. So from the story aspect, is it then safe to say that the kindness that your mom was putting out was also beneficial for her own well-being and her own mental health? Or was it coming also from a space of not having that opportunity when she was younger? So she learned and then she transferred to you. So she also grew with the Gayatri in the 8th grade while she was supporting you. Like, I'm just trying to understand
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
kindness is just a one-way street, or does it actually have an impact on the well-being of the person who's being kind?
I feel like it always is, because for her to see her daughter happy will make her happy truly.
Yeah.
Because I understand, like, if it was an XYZ person and not my mother, then I would have, I don't know whether it would have been the same or not. But for my mom, obviously she's my mom. She wants to see her daughter happy. She wants to see her thrive. So her victory is in my victory in life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
For all parents, it's like that. And my mom also for the viewers, she's a psychologist herself. She has specialized in child psychology, so that also does play into this. She
Sample
has
example.
prior knowledge in this.
Yeah.
That's one. And secondly, she comes from a small town. She grew up in Rohtak, and over there, women, Haryana had a very different background, especially back in the 70s when she was growing up. It was not the same as it is in Delhi in the 2000s, right? So obviously she did not have the same kind of exposure. She did not come from the same kind of upbringing. My grandparents, Nana Nani, were both very specific about what they wanted from their children, and that is, and all both their daughters were toppers. My Mossy is a PhD. My mother is an MPhil in psychology. So both of them are like very brilliant kids, right?
Yeah.
And they never ever focused on even co-curricular activities. They were very empowering of the women. They were very, my nani is like such a matriarch like that, you know. She says that I have two daughters and both of them are going to be like very successful in what they do, and they will study till whatever age they want to, and then they can get married if they like. But my mom inherently was not the kind of person who cared for looking a certain way. Okay, she was, as a person, her interest lied in reading books, her interests lied in studying or in, making a family or to do up her home. Her interests are very different from mine. I'm very much my dad's girl when it comes to my nature. It's not the same as my mom. But at the same time, the fact that even though she comes from a small town where she did not have the same kind of exposure, she still had the foresight to identify that her daughter is very different from her, that she has different interests in life. She only helped me blossom into who I am today, you know. So I feel like that's where the kindness comes from. That's where it's who she is. She's just a kind person, not just to me because I'm her daughter, but generally from whoever she meets. I feel like she has such a calming presence because she's just a pure soul. That's who she is, you know. And she's not someone who tries to try to be kind. She just is.
Yeah, through their acts. Yeah, I think
actions,
it's interesting.
not even her words.
Yeah. No, I think it's phenomenal that you say this. I think there is something about mothers that all of us end up feeling like they're just such kind souls. Like they're the kindest souls we've ever come across, because I think there's an innate quality. And again, I'm going to go back to the females, and of course men do as well, but they become great partners. But I think women have this great knack of learning. Because we're learning to be a better wife, we're learning to be a better mom, we're learning to be a better person at work. We're constantly learning, and I think that for themselves is such a kind space to be in, because you're not stunted, you're not holding on to things, you're just constantly flowing. And I think if anyone can achieve that, they end up having great results, like great children, great family networks, all of that. No, but this is lovely. So thank you for sharing that. And also then, if we can go back into simple acts of kindness, since we were saying not just words, but your mom's sort of enacting her kindness. What do you, Gayatri, then have learned from her, or would just consciously believe that our acts of kindness that we've begun to take for granted, what are those things that we could probably revisit and start doing again? What is this generation missing that our parents have definitely aced? Yeah.
My mom and I are very different people.
Yeah.
She inherently is the kind of person who wants to be a caregiver.
Yeah.
She's the definition of what women were expected to do in their roles. And growing up, as much as I have appreciated her staying home, you know, she's given up her career for me entirely, and for my brother and for the family.
Yeah.
And I really, really appreciate it. That is something that has helped me, you know, because as a child, I felt like I needed my mom, you know, growing up back then.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she not once told me that you are also expected to do the same exact things. You don't have to. If you want to go out, you want to have a career of your own. My parents actually growing up never told me that shadi is ever a goal. Shadi was never ever talked about also in my home. They were like, wo time aayega, abhi tum chote ho. Abhi nahi baat karenge is bare mein. We'll talk about it once the time is right.
Yeah.
So, having said that, I have observed my mom being kind in a lot of ways when it comes to being selfless. She's a very selfless person. But what I have come to realize is that it's a double-edged sword. People can take you for granted a lot when that happens. I'm guilty of taking my mom for granted. A lot of
I
times.
think we all are. I mean,
We all are,
the
right?
fact that we're fortunately, at least in this generation, beginning to recognize that the work that the mother does. In fact, ironically, I was just telling my own mom at lunch, I was like, a man can make a home. Sure, he provides for your, financially can provide for you. You can buy a house. You can also make a home with men, like you can
Mm.
have that kind of energy. But I think mothers are the world that comes with that. Like they are the world that makes the home complete, because you're just and it is like you said, it's a double-edged sword, because they give up so much. It's absolutely thankless. None of us sometimes even appreciate our parents. Sometimes we even have the nerve to fight them,
Yeah.
literally say things because we don't have better tools and resources. So yeah, I think
Or
one
we
of
don't have
the
a better understanding in that moment
yeah
because they are our parents. We take them for a ride because where are they going?
yeah yeah
You know, in your head, you know that your mother loves you unconditionally.
yeah
So you take them for granted and instantly I regret it. So I had a very bad phase of teenage years, like 17, 18, 19 years of age when I was. I remember being so just downright mean to my mother, you know, just getting all my everything out and just talking to her in a way that was unacceptable.
oh god.
Unacceptable. Now when I look back, and I have apologized to her profusely, like on multiple occasions, that you're a
She's
saint.
going to be so happy today. She's like, I'm going to just keep playing this every time you're being mean now. Yeah.
Exactly. No, but also Malika, you and I have to also recognize the fact that we are very fortunate to have mothers like that. Not
Yeah.
everyone has mothers who have probably sacrificed too much or
Yeah.
given so much away for their children. We are very fortunate, and I think we should recognize our privilege because
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it is a
Not take it
matter
for
of
granted.
huge. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't take it for granted at all. That kindness that I have now because I have the at 28, I feel like I have the mental foresight and the actual wisdom to understand that my how much my parents have done for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And I have noticed that in the profession that I'm in right now, kindness is very it's very superficial.
Let's get into it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I feel like it is very superficial where it's if you are of if you are worthy to that person, they will be kind to you. If
Yeah.
they see some potential in you, or if they have some work from you, or if they see that they need you in the future for something, they'll be kind to you. If they don't see that potential in you, or if they don't think that
You're
you are
not even human.
somebody,
Yeah.
then you're not even worth their gaze.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eye contact also will not happen because
I think
who
I
are
think
you
you will
then?
also then agree then to a large extent, which I'll come back to the fact that yes, very very conscious of the privilege that we have from the parenting angle. From the podcast angle, I was also going to say that a lot of people don't recognize that even if you don't have parents who are nice to you, you need to recognize that this is all they know. Like this parenting is also their first time parenting, right? Like nobody came down with a manual, so this is the best that they're doing, and it needs to be a two-way street. Like if they're not learning, you need to learn how to be, and
Yeah.
work around, try harder every day. But I don't think anyone should take their parents or their children for granted, because that's a relationship that is, it's meant to teach us better. It is our life and we need to grow from it. But I think also, to bring you back to the point that we were talking about, the career that you're in, is it then also safe to say that we are maybe slightly moving towards a world where people are nicer to you because you have followers, or like the optics of things? Do you have people who are kinder to you because you're popular? Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. There are
And you
people
can
who
sense
would
it.
want to. I know which person is nice. That's why I don't like telling people about if they don't know me. Na, I don't tell them about my background also because it just makes the conversation inorganic to me. It
Yeah.
makes it a little more, and I don't like talking about myself. Like
Yeah.
when I'm having a one-on-one conversation, because I do that for a living, because I give so many interviews, I do so much of like media PR work,
Yeah.
especially when a project is coming out. Now you have to
Yeah.
talk about your work, you have to promote your projects also.
Yeah.
So I do that so much that lately I've just been so saturated with it, talking about the same things over and over again, that I'm so like to have an organic conversation even at a party. If somebody asks me about my work, I just say, come on, let's just not talk
Not
work
talk
now.
about it. Yeah. Yeah.
And now I understand why. I've also been told that before. I remember when I was just starting out, I went to a party and I remember asking this actor, don't want to name them. I remember talking with them and so excited because he's a bigger actor, established, and I just wanted to be like, hey, so tell me about your project. I thought that's how I'm going to get work if I discuss work with people or whatever.
Yeah.
But because I was so enamored, and they were like, let's just not do
Yeah.
that. Let's
Yeah.
just have a drink or let's enjoy or whatever. So I was like, now
Yeah.
I see myself doing the exact same thing, and I'm
Yeah.
not saying that I'm at that level. I'm just saying that at a level where I'm at, also I am saturated with, like,
Yeah.
just
No, I
doing that
think
with
it's
people.
safe to say that when we're working, I think a lot of us in our generation, especially if we're coming from bigger cities, or for people who are coming not from bigger cities, will probably be like, why are they always working? It is tougher to survive in bigger cities if you're not working, but I think work is so important to recognize, just a part of our lives, right? Like there is so much more to a human being. Also through, like you said, there could be days where I want you to get into unkinder moments and how you would probably want to then resolve them, which
Hmm.
was my next question, with when you are at work. And you are struggling, but then there is, a part of yourself that you have to put out. Where do you see the kindness slipping often, even through the profession that you're in? And
Myself,
how would,
yeah.
yeah, and how would you, because someone's listening to you, how would you even suggest a simple resolve? Like, what is it that Gayatri is looking for if she's having a tough day, but she's trying to pull off a happy Gayatri face? Yeah,
That happens a lot on
all the
set.
time, all the time. Yeah,
All the time, right? And I remember, like, I was shooting for my show Highway Love, which was such a
which
big
was great, by the way,
it,
Inaya. Well done.
so that was actually the first time where I was shooting. I had a lot of lines in that show. It was just me and Ritvik, my co-actor, and we both. It was the show was basically riding on the two of us.
Yeah,
So if you're not in the correct headspace,
yeah,
you are not going to be able to act. Acting
yeah,
is it takes so much from you as a person. It makes you give in your all and go to the deepest, darkest corners in yourself, the happiest memories in yourself,
the
everything that
triggers.
you
Yeah,
triggers, everything. Basically, all the words that are coming out of my mouth are coming from a place of history that I have already seen in my life. But
yeah,
everything is you, so I'm the vessel, and I have to remove everything out from me.
yeah,
So when that is expected from you, you cannot. Meditating is so important at that time. I have never once, that's my record. I never go on set without a 10-minute meditation. I
wow,
never do that because it just centers me. I listen to a gratitude meditation because sometimes, you've just had 2-3 hours of sleep. You've
yeah.
barely slept and you have to again pull an all nighter. You have to like deliver, right? But I'm not at all complaining about that. I
No,
love
you're
my
not. No,
job.
you're just being honest about the process. Yeah,
Yeah. And you have to come on set and you have to do the best that you can. And if you're not grateful, sometimes that you can, because it's a profession where you get a lot of validation every single day, right?
yeah,
There is a vanity van that you're given. You have a spot boy, you have your staff, you have your makeup artist, you have your team, you have your manager, you have the ADs around you. So when you have so many people coming to you and asking you what you need, is everything fine? You can tend to slip from reality to delusion very easily. You
hmm.
can very easily forget that you are also doing a job. You are not better than them,
Yeah,
you are not superior in any way. They're all doing their job. That person is getting paid not by you, by the production to make sure that the actor has everything that they need to be on time and to do their best.
yeah,
That does not mean that that spot boy is any less in value
yeah, yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
he's lesser than you, right? So I make sure that that I do that gratitude meditation first thing in the morning so that I don't take people for granted on set, my staff, so that if I'm upset, I don't get it. So the first person you get it out on is the person in front of you or a person who will take it.
yeah.
Even if you're frustrated because you know the production is being mean to you or somebody else has not done their job or people
Or
are
just
just
you're having a shitty day. Yeah, yeah,
right? So those things can lead to a shitty day, and then what
yeah,
do? You can just be a bitch sometimes. You can do that.
yeah,
But I make sure that I don't, and I make sure that even if I am, that I apologize first thing.
yeah.
Like if I get angry like this fast, I also like calm down
Same.
this fast.
Same. I just need the right people to recognize that she's in that space. She's going to go back now in 5 seconds. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but I think the question also then is for the people, because see, I mean, the whole point that you're on the podcast is the fact that you're someone who does your inner work, which is why you're sitting on the other side. I want to know from the people who are doing their inner work, what is it that you want the other people to know who are very quick on judging people, very quick on like, I mean, I'm sure for you someone could probably just be like, oh, And I see this all the time, and I sometimes make my time to sort of comment, and the fact that you're not commenting can turn into a, oh, she's such a not a nice person, kitna bhav khane lag. What is it that you would like for a message to go out to say these people who are watching, who are not doing their inner work? Is it
I feel
harder
like
on the other side, or is there a resolve that you can share that we could easily practice?
it's not humanly possible for somebody to reply to every. Otherwise,
Good. Yeah.
I won't be doing my job,
You
right?
will be
I
jobless.
will be, I will be just replying to you guys, and you will have no more shows to watch.
Yeah.
I have to, I have to do my job, and it's
Yeah.
impossible. But I read. I make sure that I read the love, and I
All the
make sure that
trolls
I
as well.
repost.
Are you reading all the trolls? Is that something that is getting to you?
No, actually, I don't let the trolls get to me at all.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not anymore. I don't watch reviews though. Review channels I don't
But
watch
if
because
there was a message that you could give out to your trolls from the inner work, Gayatri, when you're doing your journal, what is it that you want these people to know from you?
I just want you to know that it's there are two sides to it, and there are two moments of how I feel when I
Yeah.
see a troll. Okay, the first response is anger. Okay, the
Yeah.
first response is you have no idea. You
Yeah.
have no idea how hard it is. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's also because I'm still so new to the industry, you know.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
second response after that is feeling that oh, I'm important enough for them that they are taking the time of the day to write something on my social media, and that actually makes me feel like I'm important. I'm somebody. Thank you for
Thank you
giving
for
me
coming.
that,
Yeah.
I'm important enough for you. You know,
Yeah.
honestly.
Love
But
that. Yeah.
luckily, I have also noticed one thing, that my ratio of trolls and
Yeah.
well-wishers
Yeah. Yeah.
is like supremely
Exponentially off.
this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it is. This is the amount of trolling I get, and this is the kind of love I
Yeah.
get.
Yeah.
So I'm very lucky like that. और जो trolls होते भी हैं वो DM में और भी गालियां भी लिखते हैं लोग.
हाँ.
They're just like ये पढ़ रही है पक्का. She's reading. And to them,
I'm reading. Sometimes when I comment on your post, I'm like, stop it, stop it, stop it. Like, I'm actually physically going out and telling people to not troll, because I genuinely think that all of us need to start doing our inner work, and I need to start recognizing that all of us are living lives for the first time. And like you said, like, as much as we'd like to engage with everyone, there is a cut to that as well, because we have full-time jobs. But inner work is so important. Everybody
inner
needs
work
to
is
start.
very important. Another thing I feel is that there are a lot of people who are not as fortunate as we are, and I really feel like it comes from a place of lack, and it comes
Yeah.
from a place of uh, not having done the inner work and not having reached the level where they have understood that that's important. There is a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
our population that I wish that we, and by this podcast, I'm hoping that this message has reached out to those people, that you will keep circling around in life, you'll keep going through the same pains, the same kind of trajectory that you are in right now, unless you decide to make that change in your life,
Yeah.
which will happen with the inner work. That inner work is not just to be kind to people, but to
Yeah.
be kind to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once you start being kind to yourself, you will start taking decisions that are good for you. You will start making healthier choices in your life. You will not procrastinate. Once you start being kind to yourself, that's still something, by the way, I'm struggling with. Everybody does.
All of us. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody, you
Yeah.
have, by being kind, I mean, showing up to places on time, respecting other people's time more. A lot of these things that you need to do, and in return, you'll see
Honest बनाओ.
बहुत सारी चीजें हैं. But for people who are not recognizing that kindness is not just, you don't have to, once you start being kind to yourself, you will forget about hate.
Yeah.
Word will not exist for you, and you will not spam people's social media
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's really not bothering the celebrity guys. It's not. Ultimately, they are getting paid for their job. You commenting is only increasing their engagement on Instagram. It is not doing any harm except for you thinking that that's a venting space. Great. But it's also creating a negative environment on the web in
On
general.
the web and for themselves as well. I think,
And for yourself.
I'm really
yeah.
glad that you actually mentioned that in the way that you've said it. I think it's important that all of us recognize that we have been given this life to test our own selves. So if we stop wasting our times on trolling, judging other people, we will have more time to live a more wholesome lives for ourselves, because like you said, it starts from ourselves. And if we start making better choices, we break patterns that we're stuck in, and then we elevate, right? Like better things happen to us because we're open and learning, and we're doing our homework and going to the next class in life in general. But it is really important, and I hope that people do the inner work. Yeah.
You know this person called Louise Hay,
Yes, do
right?
talk.
So Louise Hay says this one thing, that if you put out uh, hate into the world, forget hate. Like if you've written one negative comment on somebody,
Yeah,
the universe, you're putting it out in the world, in the
yeah,
universe, right?
yeah. It's going to
You
come
will
back.
get it back.
Yeah,
It's never not going to come back. You will
yeah,
always have somebody else say that to you, or more. So what you're doing is you're creating this current which is more and more and more hate, give out, hate come back to you, hate give more hate out, more hate come back to you. So when you're in this vicious cycle, you sometimes lose track of what you're doing. That's
yeah,
what I see with people, and
yeah,
I've seen so many women bashing other women, like
yeah,
in such crass words. They
yeah,
will
yeah,
go
yeah,
on to the way they describe other people's body parts. They'll be like, "Isse better to mere hain." Things
yeah,
like that,
yeah,
and then and they say things like, "Oh my God, look at her legs, kitni kali hai ye." ऐसे भी बोलते हैं लोग.
no, you.
I'm just like, नहीं मुझे मैंने एक और actor के उस पे पढ़ा. She's looking, so the actor in the said actor that I'm talking
Yeah,
about. So she is wearing makeup on her face like
yeah,
people normally do, but unfortunately sometimes you're having a bad makeup day, flash photography में
yeah. Or the lighting
it
is
was
bad, or the
lighting
photography
was
is bad.
bad.
Yeah,
तो
yeah,
उसका face ना वो हो रहा था, flashback हो रहा था. So it was looking white, and her legs were the same color as her legs. But you know
yeah,
how knees pe, we are Indian brown people, man.
yeah,
So
yeah.
she has, like, her knees were looking brown, like darker than the rest of the leg,
Which is
and then
normal, by the way.
which
For
is
people
so
who don't
normal.
wear
I
makeup,
have
it is
that.
normal. Yeah,
What do you mean makeup? Why are you expected
yeah,
to wear makeup on your legs also?
yeah,
Firstly,
yeah,
why
yeah,
should she have to? Okay, she has, but it's because it was the contrast between the face and that. I saw so many women commenting ugly, black,
yeah,
kali. The way, even today in
yeah.
2023, people are talking about color in our
Yeah,
country.
yeah. No, that is you're apt. I think
Ridiculous.
women can get kinder, and I think, like you said about the hate manifolding, if you put it out, I think I'm a strong believer that if you put out kindness as well, then it comes back to you in multiple
Yes.
varied formats. And so, hopefully, through this podcast, we can inspire people to recognize that inner work is the only thing that can help
The only
you
thing.
go away from all the hate and actually do better for yourselves, because like you said, like your own mom has put out a great example of being kind, and so then that's translated into another generation of great work coming out, and hopefully we can keep a kind cycle alive. And to
Yes.
get into the kindness quick fire, where you're going to have to give me shorter answers, you cannot take too long. It's going to be like a
Okay.
rapid fire but for kindness. Are you ready?
Ready?
Okay, great. Gayatri, what is your go-to kindness quote or motto that inspires you the most? This is the easiest one. Yeah. It's supposed to be a quick question. Gayatri is frozen. Okay, I'll edit this a little bit, make kindness on my part.
I'm very bad with remembering quotes, actually.
Okay, what? Okay, we can come back to this question. I
Let's
can
come
be
back. Let
kind
me
enough
think
to you,
about
and
it.
I'll
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
be kind about this. Okay, if kindness had a color, what color would you want it to be, and why?
Baby pink.
Why?
Because it reminds me of love. It reminds me of the color is very feminine
Hmm.
in nature, and for me, it's something that I relate to myself, because you by myself I mean the feminine energy within me, and I feel like because my mother has been my biggest example of kindness, it reminds me of her as well in some way. This is what came at the top of my mind. That's why I'm
Cute,
saying that.
cute.
So yeah.
Cute. I think this is the cutest thing you have done in a very long time, because I haven't seen that cute side come out in a very long time. But thanks. Which with the other sides are nice as well. Disclaimer: the other sides are graceful, elegant. All of that is very mature. But this was cute, and I like that. If kindness were a sound, what sound would it make and why?
A sound?
Chalo, chalo,
How
jaldi.
can I make a sound of kindness? What? Hmm. Why नहीं आंसर कर सकती मैं इसका?
नहीं
Why
नहीं
नहीं है?
नहीं sadly यहाँ पे कोई hamper भी नहीं है, so I can't even be like okay no, okay, but I can help you. We can try and redo this for you in the
No,
sense
no,
that
no.
there are
Okay. Okay, I think I know this one. A sound would be my dog whining. Anytime I come home, she goes like, because she's so excited to see
That
me.
is
She
kind.
gets so excited to see me, and there's no rhyme or reason. I could have
Yeah,
gone down for 10 minutes and she'll make the same sound.
that is true
So I
love.
think,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, lovely. I like that. If kindness were a food, what food would it be and why? I need details,
My
flavors.
mother's homemade pizza.
Mother's homemade pizza. Wow.
Oh my god,
Amazing.
that pizza is. Have you had it? Have you ever
No,
come down to
Gaia
have it?
is never.
It's like wood fire, nicely made baked pizza. Oh my
Should
god,
try.
it's
Next time.
delicious.
Next
And
time
it's
you're in
so
Gurgaon.
healthy. Also, like she makes it with some quinoa flour with like it's basically a healthy pizza. It doesn't have maida or
I was
anything.
going to say every time I come to your house, everything is healthy anyway. Like so, the fact that I've not had a pizza is, I'm feeling a little bit like on the heavier scale because I've always been offered
You
salads.
are on the
Like
heavier
actually,
side. You
how?
should be.
No, I'm just no, but
No, it's
healthy is
fun.
good, and I
Yeah,
will sign myself up for pizza. You're distracting me from the rapid fire. If kindness was a superpower, what special superpower would you like for it to have on you?
I want to have unlimited amount of money to give to as
The
many charities as
underprivileged.
possible, as many places, war zones, you name it, and I want that. And I feel like money is everything right now in terms of
Yeah.
these. Everybody, the reason that certain sects of our society are struggling is because they lack resources, they lack funds.
Yeah.
And I feel like, especially in our world right now, the wealth is, the wealthy are getting wealthier and the
Mm.
poor are getting poorer. So I feel like to bridge that gap, I think I want to be that person who has unlimited amount of wealth which is dedicated for them. So
Whoever
I want
whoever
that
really needs it.
power. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very practical one, but I think that's what I
No,
would
I
want.
think it's a really good one. And I think I completely, on a practical, logical level, agree with you. I think money is extremely important. But I also threw that question, not that it's my rapid fire, I just wanted to add in that I think for everybody to realize that their biggest money or wealth is their time. And for whoever really wants to contribute, just spending time with also people who are less privileged, older people who've been
Absolutely.
put into old age homes, please go invest your wealth, which is your time, with them. That is a
Beautiful.
starting point. Yeah. And money, whenever you make money, please go put it
I
back.
agree with you. And I feel like you don't even need money to do charity.
Yeah.
I go to a lot of, like, I go to these dog shelters.
Shelters.
I
Yeah.
recently went to an orphanage as well, and all they wanted was bars of soap. Okay,
Yeah.
that's all they wanted. The person who was the head of in charge, they said, I
Yeah.
said, what do you think I can get for them? Can I get food? Can I get ration? Can I get? They said, just get some bars of soap. So I just took soaps for the kids, for the girls over there,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
were so like just that. I feel like in spending some time with them, I got the happiness that I could not get from buying 100 things for myself. It is
Absolutely. Absolutely.
unparalleled,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Back to, sorry, rapid fire question. If kindness were, okay, I'm going to come back to this one because this one is going to be a song, and I know that you're a great singer. So I am going to take the liberty to put you on the line and say, if kindness were a song, what song would you like for it to be? And can you please sing it for us? But I'll give you a second to think
Think
of
about
that
it.
one.
Okay.
Yeah. And ask you a question in between. If you'd rather have the superpower to be able to make someone instantly burst into laughter, that's a choice between that, or make them feel loved and cared for, which one would you choose and why?
Both. I would want both. A person to
Choice.
feel laughter or loved and cared for. I feel like loved and cared for is a primary need for any human being. I feel like everyone deserves that.
Yeah.
It is something that you and I can, think that is so, like, it's okay, we deserve that. But a lot of people don't get that. Companionship is so rare. I mean, people don't have basic care that they need
Yeah.
sometimes. So I feel like I would definitely choose that. And laughter is definitely a plus added on benefit. And once I give them the love and care is when I will make them laugh.
Say.
That's what I
So
would
she's
want to
like,
do.
first, okay, step one, step two. This is amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
so are you ready for your song question?
Let me think of a song.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Yes. So what was the song supposed to be on?
If kindness was a song, what song would you think it would be? And because I know I'm taking this liberty, I don't really ask all my guests this, but I know that you're such a phenomenal singer. I want you to be able to.
That good also, yeah. Should
I
I
think
have
you're
been
fab.
hanging so long?
No, no.
No.
Okay.
Well,
If you don't approve of it, we will edit it. But I would like the
let
world to
me sing
know.
two lines. Let me sing
Yeah,
like very small chunk of it and
floor away, floor away.
awesome. So this song is by Kailash Kher. It's called Saiya,
Hmm.
and it is a beautiful love song. And I know people who know this song, they know.
Love,
So
love. Yeah.
it goes हीरे मोती मैं ना चाहूं मैं तो चाहूं संगम तेरा मैं तो तेरी सैया तू है सैया सैया
Thank you, thank you for taking it on, and thank you for singing it so beautifully. And this is absolutely unrehearsed. So, Guy, thank you
Yeah,
so much for
I
it.
did not expect to sing today, guys.
Well, it adds on to the introduction that I was talking about for the fact that you've had such a massive impact and have gone from dentistry to, everything that you've achieved so far, and sort of sums up. So thank you for confirming that my introduction was right, that there is constant inner work, and the fact that you're dedicated to just being your best version is what we were trying to bring out. So thank you so much for all that content, information, the energy that you've given in. It's been so sincere, and
Thank you
so
for
that
asking
you
such
don't.
amazing questions.
Thank you.
Such fab questions.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
thank you. And on that note, because I don't want you to feel depleted at any point, I am going to leave the stage to you to share either feedback, or you can ask me a question that may help you on the kindness
Yes,
journey. Sure,
I
your
would
turn.
actually love to know that. How do you uh, be kind to yourself, and how do you practice to be consistent with that? I want to know what is your take on that, because I know what I said about that, but I keep wanting to know.
How people are doing it. I think, this is everybody who's actually doing the inner works. Their first question is, how are you doing it? Because there's something I'm missing. No, so thanks for asking me that. I think I'm beginning to, as I continue being on my journey, I'm beginning to become more cognizant of the fact that we're all living lives for the first time, and that whatever I am doing, whether it's a high riding wave, an achievement, or a bad day, it will never come back. So I think the one thing that I'm doing for myself, as I'm kinder to myself, is something that I'm consciously working on, is breathing in those moments. Like I'm taking it all in and I'm releasing it with the same, breath work. I think it makes life a lot more peaceful, because to know that this, even like a podcast, this our first podcast will probably never happen again. It's not something I'm taking for granted. So I'm actually enjoying everything. I'm in the present. I'm being
Same.
honest. I'm being honest. And I think this is the maximum I can do with the resources and the tools I have for me right now. I'm sure I'll probably, if God is kind to give me another day, have another day to learn better, practice better, ask better questions, be a better host, all of that. But for now, I'm just as honest as I can get, and I'm thoroughly just breathing in and breathing out, bouncing off good energy. Yeah.
Wow. And you're
Yeah.
such a good listener. And obviously, like, I know you since a while, and I
Yeah.
know that you're an exceptionally intelligent girl. There are so many things in your CV that I don't even remember anymore, because it's
Good.
like, it's so long, because you're so accomplished yourself, you know. So
Thank you.
it is an honor to sit with you and have this conversation, and a conversation where I felt like I was fully present because of the kind of, because you're engaging just as a person, you're
Thanks.
so engaging. So I
Thank
think
you.
that goes to show that your podcast is amazing, and I would love to listen to other episodes as well from your other guests.
Thank
And
you. No,
I
I
had a
think
great time.
great. That's exactly
Yeah.
what we wanted, and I'm really grateful that we got to do this on. And I think the audiences can also now go and explore this beautiful person behind Gayatri, because I think sometimes it becomes really easy for us to sort of just spotlight on the spotlight that we put on ourselves, which is where we, put a part of our lives. But I think I've had the honor of seeing you work. I also, my earliest memory of you was being a rebel about, the tattoo, which was you manifesting your future. And in the
Oh
episode,
yeah.
it's true. I remember that moment. It was Diwali, and you walked out, and I was like, oh my God, because, back in the day, like, even though we're a couple of years apart, I still don't have the spine to pull that behavior. And you were like, I am that. It says diamond, right? Shine
Yeah.
like a diamond.
Soon to
Yeah,
shine.
diamond. Yeah. So yeah, manifesting her career, and I know how hard you work, how disciplined you are, the 5 a.m. club that you've been on, through the good periods and through the waiting periods. And I think it's really important that people realize that the human test is doing your own work on yourself. There is no competition. We are our own best and worst competitions, and
Yeah.
great proof right here. Gayatri,
Oh,
thank you
so
so
sweet of you.
much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Malika.
much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Big love.